Music rhythm games are a guilty pleasure of mine. I just adore these types of games. Being able to mash buttons to a song just feels so rewarding to me. When I was younger, my favorite games in the genre were DJ Hero, Project Diva, and Tap Tap Revenge. I loved this game to the point that instead of buying songs for my iTunes, I would buy songs on here just to listen and then play them. My dream game was to have one where I could play any song on them that I had on my phone or whatever. Audio Surfer was the only game that ever came close to this. Nowadays, I don't play much with music rhythm games. I just kind of lost interest in the whole push button to the beat gameplay. That's not to say I don't still play some like Muse Dash or my favorite as of now, Mad Rat Dead. I just feel nowadays rhythm games need gimmicks to make them stand out, either from using a unique controller, to being a platformer, or just having rhythm mechanics to your game. Especially in America, these types of games died off when Guitar Hero and DDR stopped being a fun trend to do. I remember how much of a big deal it was for my small town to be able to play Expert or Beat Through the Fire and Flames on Guitar Hero. Now I only ever see Guitar Hero occasionally in arcades, and even that is dying out. Even if rhythm games have more gimmicks than before, gimmicky music rhythm games aren't really all that new. The thing was, most games just kept to a certain structure back then. Today though, I'm going to be talking about a game that is mostly obscure now. A game that was created by Arika, the people who brought us games like Mario and Tetris 99, the 3DS classic games, Street Fighter, and Tekken 7 and 8. It's safe to say these guys are a big deal. Well, let's jam on in and see what this series is all about.
Arika.
Arika was a company formed in 1995, and it consisted of former Capcom employees, with their first game being Street Fighter EX. They went on, as said before, to have a beefy list of heavy-hitting games, and even helped with things such as the 3DS AR that was bundled with the system. Today though, we're not talking about any of those games. We're talking about a rhythm series that started out in Japan before finding its way to the West. That game is Technic. It was a game released only in Japan back in 2001 and was a unique spin on the rhythm genre. This game really has a nice look to it, going for this dark futuristic aesthetic, even having this giant TV where you select game modes from. Now, you may be wondering how it plays, so I'll go ahead and show you. Oh fuck. Oh yeah, I forgot. You see, Japanese games use circle as their select and X as their back button, so this is going to take some time getting used to. Thank God the game has a lot of English to navigate with, or this would have been a nightmare to play. Well, here we are at the character select, and we only have two characters to pick from, one being Nitty and the other one being Rain. Rain is probably my favorite, while Nitty would fit right in with those emo characters from the early 2000s. Once you pick your character, you're greeted with two channels, Toy Dreamer and Deep Clear. I'm going to say this right now, I played this for 2 hours and never unlocked any other modes, and mostly played the exact same songs throughout. I did unlock a random third song while playing one of the other modes, but I still can't tell you how I unlocked it. The stages are quite beautiful, and I love how you're running on water and it does this ripple effect and moves with the music notes when they explode. Your character will even react when you do good or bad, to the point she will start to dance when you're doing really well, and then basically do whatever this is when you're doing really bad. I'll say this right now, this game is not the most forgiving. It's actually quite hard to get the hang of, but can still be done with persistence. That being said, get ready to hear this over and over more than the actual game audio.
Retry, 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 too bad.
What's weird as well is I think the pause screen is glitched. When you pause, you can't unpause, and even pressing X on retry to cancel it will just make you retry anyways. I tried everything to unpause the game and nothing worked. I don't know if maybe I'm just not pressing the right button or it's a combination of buttons, but God forbid you press the start button on a good run. Well, since we're here in the game, I think it's time to explain the gameplay. You pick a character and your goal is to spin in these rings when the ring inside hits the edge of the ring. If you spin too early or too late, you will get a bad rating. Going back to what I said about the game being unforgiving, you better hope you don't miss too many or you will fail. Doesn't matter how good you did through the song, if you miss too many in a row, it's over. I've had runs die at the last moments of the songs from this, and it gets really annoying after a while. I also know Guitar Hero did this as well, but this game really feels like it's trying everything to make sure you can't rebuild your tension meter back up when this happens.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
When you're not failing at this game, your goal is to try to get perfects for more points, but there's actually no score counter to see your points, but the game does tell you in the tutorial how much each rating is worth point-wise. You're also able to use each character's special abilities. Ring can carry a ring to another part of the map to create chains. It does feel great to get a nice chain going, and if the flower patterns that appear touches any of the other circles while still there, it will automatically turn that one into a flower, meaning with the right setup, you can create some long ongoing chains. The issue with this is some characters end up being poorly balanced and have a harder time clearing some songs, while some are broken to the point you can basically set your controller down and let the game play itself. It becomes really obvious who's better and who isn't, but more often than not, the faster the character is, the better. Another thing as well, not all abilities are unique. Some characters just outright share the same move, and this can make the slower one of them be the objectively worst one. I again will cover the characters later and what they do, but for now, let's talk about the songs. Some songs in this game are great, in fact I love them, but then there's songs that make my ears bleed. This ambient song is the worst one for me because not only is it bad, but it's hard to follow any rhythm with the song, and this can be an issue with a lot of songs in the game. It never feels like you're actually in rhythm with the music and more just hitting buttons to get rid of circles while a song plays. This is again not an issue with every song, but it shouldn't be an issue with any song for a game heavily requiring the music to be the main focus.
Once again, for the fucking 1800th time, shit is whack. Shit is whack. Shit is whack.
You also have options to add delay to songs and pitch shift them. You don't gain any points for doing this, as far as I can tell, so it's pointless but fun. You trigger the delay by pressing the button again after hitting a ring. The pitch shifting is done with the right analog stick. These mechanics are more of a hindrance since you have to move your hand to use the pitch shift, requiring you to waste valuable time that you could be using to get to the next ring. If you gain points or something, then there could be a risk versus reward factor, but again, you don't gain anything. It's just here for the sake of being here. I don't think I would want it gone by any means, but I would want it to have more reason to use it. There's also only 3 stages that I could tell. They all look pretty similar, with the underwater area being different. The 3 stages are nice, but with only 3, it's really not much variety. The game modes aren't much better either. You have free, which is play any song you want freely. Performance, which is the game's story/arcade mode. Clearing this is how you unlock characters. Then there's options, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Record, which has all of your characters' data and high scores. Tutorial, which is where you learn how to play. Then there's Dance Edit, where you can edit dances to the music and have whatever characters you want, and it's a fun distraction at the very least. In Performance mode, you're able to play 3 different types of modes. One being single player, where you play by yourself. Another being 2-player mode. Then the last mode is supposed to be played with 2 people with 1 controller. I like this mode, but this is entirely useless since the learning curve for 1 player is already hard enough, making 2 near impossible if you're playing by yourself. After you clear a run through Performance, as said before, you unlock a character. We will go through the list of characters now. Again, we talked about Rain before, so let's move on to the next character, Hassie. He's a platypus and is considered one of the slower characters in the game. His special ability is to be able to slide into circles and move them. He will automatically activate a circle if it's a single one when you do this. At first, I really thought this move was amazing for really early songs, but once you get to harder stages, this move is more of a hindrance than helpful since it can push you further away from the rings if you don't use it right. You're actually supposed to memorize the stages and then use this character. Even in Hassie's instructions, it actually tells you to memorize songs before you use them. The next character we have is Bull, and he's honestly a better Rain. He has the same abilities as her, but feels faster. He gives me late night Skinwalker vibes though, since he will stand on his 2 legs when you do really well with him. Next character is Cart, and his special ability is to kick rings wherever you need them at. The longer you hold the kick button down, the further it goes. He also moves pretty fast, so he's probably in the top 3 best characters for me. Bull being second. Our next character is the most broken character in the whole game. It's not even an exaggeration. She's so broken, in fact, that you can actually make most of the songs in the game play themselves. We have Swan, and her ability is to make any ring she's standing in grow. This doesn't sound broken, but then when you start pulling shit off like this, you realize how broken she can really be. Hands down, the best character in the game. The next guy is my least favorite character, and actually may be the worst one in the game, Willie. The issue with him is how massive he is, and you think that would help him stand inside more rings easier, but most times you'll clear rings you weren't even meaning to. He also has the same ability as Rain and Bull.
For a second about the nudity in the film. Was that scary for you as an actor to do?
Well, the script called for it. It's an important part of Detective Crashmore's journey. What are we, 10 years old? I've seen every cock on the planet. I've seen everyone naked.
Our last character we have is Bot, and his ability is to just go really fucking fast when he picks up a ring. He's alright, but too fast for my liking to control. Then there's Nitty, and he does the same thing as Rain and picks circles up. He does feel slower than Rain, but I could also be wrong. Every character also has alternate costumes if you're into that. That's everyone though, and an overall weird choice of characters. I personally can say I wasn't the biggest fan of this. A lot of the issues bring this game down. I hate how unforgiving this game is, and it's really hard to tell what rings you're standing on, since all they do to indicate this is have them glow a little brighter. When you're moving fast and trying to hit lots of rings at once, it can be an issue. Some songs, again, didn't feel like it was even really trying to follow a rhythm and more just background music. The pitch shift and delay is also just useless, and never will you ever have a reason to use it, unless you're just bored, which does happen a lot in this game. Well, Arika decided to bring this game over to the arcades and to the West with a sequel. Does the sequel improve on past issues and make it playable, or does it fall flat in every way? Well, I'm here to find out. Before that, let's have a transition of everyone dancing their hearts out.
What you think you're doing with that strap? Oh no, bro. If I take it, you can't have it back. You're slow, bro. Like a Pokemon, I do not catch. I don't go anywhere but where the money at. Trap metal. My clothes never wrecky and my whip never a rental. I put hella chemicals directly in my mental. Crack up in the baggie, I'm a double for the kennel. Trap.
Going into the arcade version, there's not much gameplay of this, and I couldn't even find a picture of the arcade cabinet. One of the notable differences are the intros, with the intro for the arcade version looking like this, with Nitty looking different, but the PS2 intro is basically the same as the first game. The tension gauges look different as well, the sets all look the same from the first game, just more stuff going on and visually cleaner. There's also a character, as far as I'm aware, I think is only exclusive to the first game and the arcade version, that I didn't talk about, but it's Skullomania from Street Fighter. He apparently has no abilities at all, so he's pretty useless. This is basically everything I could find on the arcade version, and while I'm here, here's some concept art and other things I found, like the box art for the American and Japanese versions of the game. The PS2 version for the sequel, I can easily say, has some quality of life improvements, but also has a lot more content removed. The biggest removal for me being the 3 characters that got removed, which are Bully, Skullomania, and Swan. I ended up finding an interview explaining why this was done, and apparently it was done for balancing, since when the arcade and PS2 versions were made, they found it hard to balance all the characters for the arcade since it used an 8-way lever instead of an analog stick, making it hard for them to match the same movements as the first game. They ended up just moving a lot of the cut characters' abilities to the characters in the game, with some having new abilities like Hassie getting giant as fuck, or Nitty leaving a ring around, so in a way, it's not like we lost them fully. We also lost the greatest mode of all time, the Dance Edit mode. It's technically still in the game, but it's now a reward for completing the arcade mode, and you just mash buttons on beat for points, but I have no idea what the point of it is, and we lost the sound player mode due to copyright issues. One of the biggest quality of life changes for the game is the game feels way more forgiving for you fucking up, and now the rings will glow a bright white when you're in them instead of being slightly brighter than before. We even got new music with it being remixed from Namco from Mappy to Dig Dug. It's a nice addition and actually the only reason why the sequel was made. Some songs were even changed from the arcade release and have small differences on PS2, one of them being the Tower of Duraga, having a different part for each version, and 1970s Modern was changed for the US release, removing profanity for the rap part in the song. Now, what did they remove? I have no fucking idea because I can't even understand what he's saying in the song. They also removed a lot of random Japanese text from menus such as the arcade mode, song select, text that would appear next to the characters giving more detail about their abilities. And then there was a screen where Nitty hatches out of an egg, and this whole text box here was just outright removed. This text box just gave you stuff like the word of the day, a lucky item, and then the fortune for the day. It's just weird how random stuff like this was removed. They even removed the link to the Japanese site on the demo screen, which this one I do understand why. They also fixed a lot of the English wording, like easy style in the Japanese version is now just easy in the US. The bigger overhauls are the menus. The first game originally stayed in this dark metallic looking area and the TV was your whole menu, but in the American version you're booted into this cartoony bright menu, and this is such a downgrade for sure. The background is also bland, with it just being the logo and nothing else. The TV is still in the game, but I don't get why they didn't just keep it the same. We do have some new modes now, and those being level certification, sudden death, challenge, and replay mode. Starting off with level certification, this is a mode where you play 3 songs to gain levels to unlock new colors for your characters. I'm gonna say this right now that I did not have the patience for this, since you have to basically do this 6 times in a row with every character to get the color change for them. I did it twice and never went back to it. Sudden death mode is just like normal gameplay, but you keep playing till you get a bad score and lose. Challenge mode is my favorite, and it's a series of challenges you have to complete. It's like mission mode from Mario Kart, and it's a nice addition here to break up the normal gameplay. The only issue with challenge mode is that it will never explain how to ever do what the game is asking. You're just supposed to always know. Replay mode is the last new mode, and you can just watch replays of matches you've done. Now, let's play the main mode for the game, and wow, look at that. More than 2 different modes to pick from. The other 2 modes from before make a return, but we also have other channels now that we can pick from, and arcade mode has a nice overhaul with how it's played now. Before, you were given random songs to play with little choice on which ones you get. Here, however, you can pick any song you want, no matter how hard it is. I like this approach because it really lets you avoid songs that would be hard for your character to do. Once you beat arcade mode, you unlock a new mode called bonus mode, and this just lets you access concept art in the gallery and to watch the ending dance videos. I'll be very real with you, I didn't play all that much to really unlock much. The fact these are here and they mimic the Sugimori art style is nice. I mean, this guy straight up looks like he's from Pokemon. All in all, that's about all this game has to offer. It gives me very Zatch Bell Momoto battle vibes with how the Japanese version had extra content the American version didn't get. With that being said, I really thought this was another dead series from a company with too much time focused on other franchises, and to my surprise, I was wrong. I found while looking at Arika's website, I learned that Arika still makes artwork with these characters in them and even some crossing over with other franchises they own, for a calendar thing they've been doing for quite a while. They are really cute and I love them a lot, and the amount of detail and character that goes into these is just great. If you actually go to Arika's Facebook page, you can actually see in the profile picture they're still using the characters from Technic Beat. They even still sell merchandise of Technic Beat, but it can only be shipped to places in Japan. Nitty is even the mascot for the site's logo. They have this game's OST and even remix albums you can buy with glorious artwork on them, very Vaporwave-like. You can even buy a Technic mug with this cute artwork on it and 2 tote bags. It's just really nice to see companies supporting even their older, more obscure franchises. If you were wondering what Arika is doing with Technic Beat now, well, you're in luck. They released a mobile game called Teku Teku Beat or Pitapat Beat in the West. This game plays more like your average music rhythm game. It really doesn't hold the same uniqueness as its older games, but the app seems to be doing really well and even got crossovers with Taito and Groove Coaster, getting some of their music in the game. It again looks fun and I love the new artwork for the characters. It's always nice when a franchise gets love, even if it took a random YouTuber to get most people to even hear what this game is called. And I also happen to see his video while in the middle of making this. Well, I feel I put enough to set this apart, right? Oh, fuck.